On this episode of Spa Boss Talks, I talked to TikTok famous waxer and educator Elda Alceme, aka Waxing Queen. Elda has built a successful waxing brand with over 1.4 million followers worldwide, and she shares why it's so important as estheticians that we have multiple streams of income in our brands. Stay tuned. Welcome to Spa Boss Talks, the go-to podcast for estheticians ready to elevate their game in the world of beauty and business. I'm your host, Nicole Lancaster, an esthetician mentor and spa business consultant with a passion for helping you turn your aesthetic skills into a thriving business. I've walked the path as an esthetician in the treatment room to creating a six-figure solo business and managing seven-figure spas. And now I'm here to share the lessons, challenges, and triumphs with you. Get ready for candid conversations, expert interviews, and actionable advice that you can implement right away. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and empowered. This is Spa Boss Talks, and I'm Nicole Lancaster, your guide to success in the world of aesthetics and business. For listening to another episode of Spa Boss Talks, I am with Elda Alceme, aka Waxing Queen. If you are an esthetician online, you know exactly who this woman is. Waxing Queen has been an esthetician for over 10 years. She spent that time becoming the expert in waxing and building her brand to include an intimate skincare line. Elda provides online educational videos and tips to new and existing esties, including lots and lots of free content. And with her growing platform and wax brand collaborations, she has been able to change not only estheticians, but lots of lives with her generous giveaways and gifts. And over the past 2 years on social media, she has been a blessing to many. So thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Thank you for having me.
Now like I said, if you're an esthetician online, you know exactly who you are. And a lot of people have got a really great, valuable information regarding services, how to run their beauty business. Tell us a little bit about your journey. What brought you to the aesthetic industry? Were you always interested in beauty, or was it something that just kind of like triggered you one day? Tell us about your journey.
Oh, I definitely was triggered. I actually wasn't. I've always been like a tomboy, never really girly like or anything. Not into makeup, as you can see. But I went to go get my eyebrows done when I was like 18, and I had a horrible experience. Like half my brows were gone.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you know what? I just got to learn how to do this by myself. I got to be just more dependent on myself to do these beauty things. And kind of like 2 years after, I've been like looking into it every now and then. I would psych myself out of going to beauty school. And then I finally decided to do it.
So you started waxing your own brows at home.
Yeah, I started doing my own brows at home. I mean, it's a little hard because I got to take my glasses off, but eventually I figured it out. And I went to beauty school, got my license, and started working for a big franchise chain. And yeah, the rest is history. Started my own business after some time for working for them. And here I am.
So you got that experience and you went straight into waxing. Like you always knew, I'm going to be a waxer. This is my passion. This is what I want to do.
Yes, I feel like the schools push facials so much
Yeah.
that it just makes me sick of doing them. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then my mother and my sister both have PCOS, so I see the struggle they have with the facial hair. So I wanted to somehow be able to help them, if that makes sense. So that's another reason why I lean more towards waxing.
Well, you and I have talked about this before. I think it's so important to understand what your niche is and how to become an expert. And that's probably what has created so much success for you is you knew from the beginning, this is what I want to do. So you went from school, that's what triggered you, right? Was wax, which is
Yeah.
so cool. So you went from like straight from school into a franchise, which I'm sure you learned a lot about like speed, booking clients, how to make money in the waxing industry because there's so much money to be made in that niche, in that field, to opening up Waxing Queen Adventures. What was really your inspiration to open your own brand, or what was like the turning point for opening up your own brand?
Honestly, like I have pros and cons at working for the chain that I work for. And it makes you kind of know like what you want for your own future, like your business. So you start working for these companies and you realize how much money you're making for them and how unappreciated, like you're
Yeah.
undervalued there.
Yeah.
And so you just think to yourself, like, well, I have a large clientele here. I wonder, will they follow me? Can I start over if I try to start over? Do you know what I mean? And you gotta take the risk because it can fail. And I just took the risk and I said, I know what I want for my business. I know the values. I don't want to prioritize quantity over quality, because that's what a lot of these big chains do. They just want the money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I want the whole customer clientele experience, the ultimate wax experience, basically. And that's what I wanted to provide for myself and for the clients. So I kind of knew going into business for myself, like I can be able to set my own policies, my own promotions, just do things my way and be my own boss, obviously. So
Yeah, I think there's a moment as you grow as an esthetician where, like you said, you start to see that you're making a lot of money for someone else and not for yourself. And yeah, you have those thoughts of, well, I could do this for myself and makes lots of money. And you just have to be brave, like you said, and kind of take that leap. What were some of the initial challenges that you found with like building Waxing Queen Adventures? And what were some of your like strategies to overcome them?
I think just about everyone's struggle in the beginning is finding clients,
Yeah.
finding a location, right? Um, and I think, like, for me, I always tell people you don't always have to go so big. So when I first went off on my own, I actually shared a small suite with someone. So I still had my business name, I had all my proper paperwork, everything was good to go.
Yeah.
But I was sharing a small area with someone. So I probably worked 3 days a week and she worked 4 days a week. And I did that for a while until the clients started building up, and then I moved on to getting my own spot. And then my own spot turned into my own space. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just tell people, don't always think as soon as you get out of school, you got to go get this fancy little suite or whatever. Sometimes it's okay to start off real small, even if it's from the comfort of your home. If the state laws, allow you to do that from home, like, you just have to think smart, because that's how you feel like you're not succeeding or you're not seeing, the results, is because you jump the gun too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think also with social media, a lot of estheticians don't take advantage of social media. It's very important. It's basically 99% of what makes a business successful
Yeah.
nowadays. Everything's done online. So I started learning about social media, how to market, promote myself, do before and after pictures in a very tasteful way. You don't want to be all raunchy on the internet.
Yeah.
But once you figure these little things out and what works best for you, especially like in the area that you are, like, I'm in Florida, it's hot. So I know everyone wants to get waxed. I'm next
Right.
to a water park. You got to kind of figure out, like, also your surroundings and how you can use that towards your advantage when it comes to marketing and promoting yourself. So
Yeah, and I love that you said that start small because one of our guest mentors in Beauty Bay Business Academy is an accountant who actually specializes in aesthetics. So she has helped everyone from like students who want to start their businesses to established estheticians. And the biggest thing that she says creates difference between success and failure in like those first few years of business is just that is people like taking out loans or trying to have these big, beautiful, fancy spas starting out. And now you got to fill it, right? And the way that a lot of these people sell these machines and stuff, they're like, oh, it's only this many clients a month and it's a $1,400, finance fee.
yeah,
But you're like, where is that even going to come from? So she definitely said that's the big difference that she sees as well. I did the same thing. I was in a room in a hair studio and I had samples. Like I didn't even have a full size back bar. I had small little samples and they couldn't tell, like their eyes were closed, but they were still getting an experience. So I think
yeah.
like you said, you don't have to be all big and fancy to get clients. It's the experience that you give them. It's the results that they get. And then you can slowly grow and just start to reinvest in your business as you can. But I love that piece of advice because I think it's so crucial and important for the success of anyone's brand or business in this industry.
I agree.
Now, one thing that you are big about, and one thing that you have created such a successful brand in Waxing Queen with, is having multiple streams of revenue. So, we've talked about this before. Your goal was to never have a big spa with lots of employees under you and waxing. And I mean, that was never my big ultimate goal either. It was to grow my brand in different ways. And you have done just that. So, you really preach the importance of being able to build your brand outside the treatment room and create multiple streams of income. Why do you think it is so important for beauty professionals to do that and to be able to make money when their hands aren't necessarily on clients to create money and streams of income other ways in their brand?
I think it's extremely important because you never know what's going to happen. For instance, I have tendonitis in both my hands, which means that I cannot use them as much as I like to anymore, which means that I cannot wax as much as I like to. So if I was waxing full time and only doing that, imagine how much money I'm losing because obviously my health is always going to come first, right?
Yeah.
So if the doctor says, hey, you can't work 5 days a week anymore, like you got to limit the usage of your hands, I have to do what the doctor says, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, can't do that, but I have my products, I have my social media income, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have my t-shirts that I sell. Like you have to have multiple streams of income for that just in case moment something happens. And I think people are never prepared for that. You ever notice when you have someone like they're driving their car and the transmission goes out, they have no money saved to fix it?
Yeah.
Like you have, I'm prepared at all times, no matter what. If you told me, hey, Elda, let's go to Thailand next week, I have Thailand money put away. I like, let's go, Nicole.
I
So
got Thailand money. I
I've
love it.
always been a planner. I'm OCD with planning, if that makes sense.
I love it.
I may not be like, OCD in real life with everything, but with planning, I do not play. And I think planning is important too. But yeah, having multiple streams of income has helped me. I've been able to give back to people as well.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I tell people all the time, the people who help you get to where you are, it's important to also support them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really believe in that. So that's why we love to do giveaways on TikTok and Instagram. But yeah, I encourage waxers all the time and try to keep the multiple streams of income like in one place. Like I'm not telling you you have to go and do something else. Like stay in the industry. Like that's what I do. I'm still in the beauty industry, so it doesn't feel like it's extra work for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people, I know a girl that is an esthetician and she's also a baker. They have nothing to do with each other.
That's amazing.
So that's like, it's frustrating now because you have to
Yeah.
be in two completely different spots. Everything that I do is in this one space right here that you see me in. I don't ever have to leave it. And I get all 5, 6, 7 of my businesses rotating around this one spot.
Well, and they're all connected. I see a lot of
Yes.
estheticians online freaking out, and people give such bad advice. Don't listen to them in these Facebook groups. But people are like, "Oh, you should go get a massage license." Well, now you're like thousands and thousands of like more debt, right? And now you're trying to build a clientele when you have this fantasy of, "Oh, I'll get double the clients." You're not. Like you got to stay with what you know and become the expert just like you've done. But all your businesses are connected between brand collaborations. You're not brand collaborating with dog collar people. You're staying
No,
in your waxing.
although they have reached out to me.
Are they really? That's
because,
amazing.
well, because my Yorkie makes a cameo in some of my videos.
Yeah,
So they see that.
that's hilarious. That's so cute. But yours stays within what your skincare can be used all over the body, but I believe me, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe was formulated for intimate areas because your clients needed a good skincare
Yes.
line. So your brands and your businesses are all connected to waxing. They're not waxing and brow lifting and lash extensions. Like you grow from your brands because you have your niche, you have your specialty, and that's what you are. That's what you're the expert in. And people trust you and they
Yes.
buy because of that. It's not all over the place.
The only business so I have one business. I'm also like a certified credit consultant. And so I like to kind of teach business credit because a lot of time estheticians start their businesses and, just to help them out when it comes to getting the proper funding or the proper credit cards that may
Yeah.
assist them, just establishing their business credit. Because in the future, if you really want to start your own storefront or even just your own building from ground up, it's nice to know that you can easily get approved for a $200,000 loan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I find a way, even though that has nothing to do with waxing, I find a way to tie it in to waxing because now I teach it to the estheticians. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah, it's awesome.
formulated a presentation to where it's broken down like for beauty industry, if that makes sense. So you gotta kind of, because I knew that doing this and doing that, like I can't. So I found a way to kind of tie it up together and it kind of works out well for me now. So
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome because you give away so much free content, educational content that it ties into the waxing business. You're not doing like business credit consulting again for like dog walkers. Like you have just found a way to really build around your niche. And that's very important. I think that a lot of us also saw during COVID that when we didn't have hands-on people, we didn't make money. So had we
yeah,
had some sort of brand establishment and different streams of income like you do, your business can still succeed, or you can still at least have some sort of revenue coming from somewhere versus,
yeah,
we're not allowed to have our hands on people. So, now we have no income at all.
exactly.
So what do you think are some misconceptions maybe that estheticians have about generating multiple streams of revenue?
I think they think they have to spend more money.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I always get, which is not true because you can, let's say if you want to do drop shipping, you want to sell t-shirts with esthetician quotes and cute little things on there, that's free. You don't have to do anything. All you
Right.
have to do is sign up, get Canva, make your little cute logos and upload it to whatever third party you're using for drop shipping.
Right.
You don't have to spend a dollar at all. I also think that it's important. If this is your passion, this is your drive, you'll find a way. That's just how I look at it. I've been I've had my product line for 2 years to my clients only. And it's not until my video started blowing up, everyone's like, what are you putting on her at the end of that video? Her skin looks gorgeous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like, ding, 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 share it with the world. You know what I mean? They're axing, it's time to share it. And that's what I did. And it's been going great so far. And it's only been a year. And I probably sold over 300,000 units. So it's going great.
Wow, that's
So
amazing. Congratulations.
and it's crazy to think that I never would have put it out there if people weren't asking me in my videos. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's amazing. So you think that diversifying your income has really made an overall impact and growth on your business? You think it was a really great decision to build your brand out this way?
It was an awesome decision. It was completely awesome. I think I planned for it. I have I every week I have a list of things that I need to do and I make sure I commit. Because sometimes people look at me, they're like, oh my God, she posts on like she makes content every day. I do not do that. I have one specific day dedicated to
However,
content and I schedule posts. You know, you have to really
yeah.
figure out how to work with your time because a lot of times it looks like I'm superwoman, but I am not. I am tired. Um, but I just break it down and I make sure to take time for myself. That's very important because it really does take a toll on you, especially when you become a little bit well known on the internet. You know, people
Yeah.
see you out in public, stop you, etc. So I have to take time for myself, and so I separate my time and the business time equally, so I'm not going crazy.
I think it's so important. And you seem like you are a very well organized woman. I mean, I even hopped on your TikTok live the other day and just seeing you, you were doing bingo for like waxing and stuff. And you and your nieces, I think they were so organized. And I was like, oh my God, I would have mixed up those cards, those chips. I would have known who got what. So I think it's so important when you have multiple streams of revenue, like you said, to be organized with it, create a day and just have a process, have a system. Processes really do, I think, help businesses grow, but be super organized in it so you can make sure you're delegating your time to complete different
Yes,
tasks
delegation.
in your brands versus just attempting to do it all, like you said, because that's going to burn you out real quick and something's going to fail.
Yeah.
So, what you were in the treatment room doing waxing, what was the very first way that you grew your brand into a different direction? And what was kind of, again, like what was kind of that inspiration for, man, I should maybe like create a skincare line or I should look into brand collaborations. Like what was the very first thing that you did and what was the inspiration behind it?
So the inspiration, so working where I used to work at, I would notice that it felt like my clients were not seeing results with their products
Mm,
and they were extremely pricey. And I was like, okay, well, this is crazy because for $40, you expect something to work, right? Or
right.
for $50. And so that's where the thought started in my head. I started looking at the ingredients. I'm like, I don't know what half of these things mean. I'm from the island, so we're into all natural stuff anyways, you know?
Love it.
So I started just researching what components, like, you know, we know when we wax clients, they get ingrowns, they can get inflamed, irritation. So you just find the natural oils that help with that. But the hard part is obviously the formula, right? Having the right portion to give you that perfect formula. So that's why it took me a while. But I started noticing that and I was like, oh, this is not nice. So that's how I came out with my own product line. And then the treatment room, I started even noticing the quality of the wax that I used over there. That's
Mm,
another thing too. I just felt like this was slowing me down. Like, you know, over
yeah.
time, the wax changed drastically over time. And I don't know if it was just them redoing the formula, what it was, but I wasn't happy. I felt like I became a speed waxer and now I'm slow again.
Which
And
costs you
in life,
money,
I always, huh?
which costs you money.
Yeah. And in life, I always tell people like, I don't want to slow down. You always, you know, if you're excelling, you want to keep excelling, you know? And
Yeah.
so that's another reason why I felt like it was time for me to cut ties where I was at because it just was ultimately putting me behind where I wanted to be with my esthetician career. And so I just slowly started making sure, and this is a tip for estheticians. Okay, you're working for a chain and you don't know what to do when it's time to leave. Take a picture of your appointment book 4 weeks in the past, 4 weeks in the future. Okay. Because I'm going to promise you, they're going to let you go when you put in your notice. They're
Right.
going to let you go. And so that's what I did. I made sure that all my clients also was before I even thought about leaving. I made sure I follow a lot of my clients on social media because then they can see that post. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another helpful way too. And I know people are scared about the non-compete and stuff. They don't do anything. It's going to take them way more money to take you to court. You know what I mean? They're not going to do anything. So I always tell
Yeah.
people, just go for your dreams. I mean, what are you going to do? Be homeless? You have to work somewhere, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, I think that's just what it was with me. I just got really tired working and where I used to work at and just seeing the changes that were happening. I just weren't happy with them. Especially like the way they were treating us like robots, nonstop working. So I just decided to leave and I've never looked back. They could offer me $1 billion to go back. I wouldn't go. So
Yeah, I hear that
yeah.
a lot with like the waxing chains, but I feel like I hear the best thing that comes out of them is learning again, like how to book clients and how to get your speed
Yes.
up. I feel like the fundamentals are really great, but you need to know when it's your time to go. And like you said, I mean, yeah, I've given notice and people have been like close me off to, accounts like
Yeah,
or
because
booking
they
systems.
know obviously your license, you're going to be working somewhere and you're going to take those clients with you. So that's why they just give you the boot.
Yeah. Yeah. So you do a lot of brand collaborations now. So you started kind of growing through your skincare line and looking into new waxings, but now you do a lot of brand collaborations. Can you speak to how that has kind of helped you become successful in collaborating with different wax brands?
Yeah, I actually work with a lot of wax brands. I have some I no longer work with, but that's how it is in business. But I feel like it's helped me a lot because they also help me as well. They repost everything that I post. And sometimes what they repost goes viral than what I post. So then people kind of know who I am more. And people look into me and they find all my videos very helpful and such. And they also get access to seeing the videos of me using my products in them. And so that helps my product sales as well. Everything is kind of like one big circle waxing of life. But yeah, the brand collaborations have been a huge help. I now go to beauty conventions and work for some of them there, so it's been really fun to be able to travel across the US and meet lots of estheticians. And throughout these beauty conventions, sometimes I walk and network and I get more collaborations. So it definitely helps that I'm in a position where I can collaborate and on top of collaborate, just meet amazing people and further my career and my collaborations.
I'd like to also put in there, from what I've seen of you as like a smart businesswoman, you don't just collaborate. You collaborate with something that you either really believe is great for your followers in your community or something that you believe is really great for their business. Like we've collaborated on a business side to help your followers with their businesses, but you don't collaborate with wax companies or you don't collaborate with people unless you feel like, okay, this is actually going to help and this is good for my online community to use.
Yes, that is true. I have a lot of videos that have never made it online, and that's because I rather not bash the waxing company. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Um, I actually have a video that I'll be posting soon, and it's not necessarily bashing it. The wax performed great. It was just one thing I didn't like about it, and I think it's important that people know that there are things that I don't like you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'll be posting that video soon, but it's not to disrespect the company. It's just to just elaborate on a few things. But I don't believe in bashing companies at all. So if I like a product and I feel like it's an amazing deal, and I want other estheticians to see that and take advantage of it. And that's why I use so many different wax brands because as and probably you probably know this too, you're not going to always like the first wax that you buy.
right.
It's going to take at least 3 or 4 different wax brands for you to find the one you love. So that's why I always do wax reviews so that estheticians get a chance to see how the wax performs. And it's always from my point of view. So people have to understand that too. Just because I
Yeah.
love it doesn't mean when you buy it, you're going to love it. You might struggle using it. So you just got to play around with stuff and figure it out. But yeah.
Well, I like that too, because even if you're not just saying how great it is, maybe you're saying something like, oh, it didn't pull the hair or it's breaking, you're giving some advice of why you don't like it. And maybe someone doesn't understand it's their wax. maybe they think it's them as like an esthetician, that they're not doing a good job. But for you to post on there something that you don't like about it, maybe it clicks for them and they're like, oh, it's not me, it's my supplies. I don't know how to work with my wax, or, this wax isn't right for my clientele. So I like that you do that too, and not just brag about how great it is. You give like real life, like this is a challenge with this wax.
Yes. It's so funny you said that. I posted a video yesterday and it's about laying down the wax strip because a lot of people are struggling with that, but they're not keeping their stick straight. They're like flattening, like they're spreading
Yeah.
butter. And so many comments. Oh my God, that's what I've been doing wrong. So I hate, it's like, I don't like to blame the waxer or the wax. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just think that you guys aren't a good match. So it's no one to blame,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Now I did like brow waxing. Like I was like certified
Oh,
in sugaring, and my sugar would just melt all over people's vaginas. Like I couldn't do it. Okay. But you
yeah.
guys on the internet and like videos like yours, where you're like twirling this like big glob of wax and you just lay it on so thin and perfectly. I mean, it has inspired me a time or two. I'm like, I can do that. And I attempt to do like my legs, and it's nothing but like this thick, nasty, sticky mess, because you guys
Oh
make it
no.
look so easy with your techniques and your flow. So I love watching those videos too. Like it's so weird, just like application videos, because you guys just make it look so effortless and easy. So I really like respect waxers so much, because like you said, even just the change of a stick or like the position of your wrist can make such a difference
A
in
huge
your
difference.
service.
And it's so funny you say that because now picking up that much wax, I have to retrain my fingers to do it a different way so I don't affect the two fingers that are bothering me on each hand with
Mhm.
tendonitis. So that's another thing, I have to change a lot of things in my life in order to still be able to do what I love doing, but it's worth it. So
Yeah. So with your collaborations, did you think like, let me reach out? I want to collaborate with someone. Let me reach out to them. Or did somebody find you online? Like if somebody was interested in getting started, how should they get started? Or what was your best advice for how you got started with collaborating with different brands?
so some of them reach out to me, some of them I reach out to them. And I'm not gonna lie, you gotta have some sort of following for most of them. Some
Yeah.
of them, they don't care. So what I would do is kindly send them either Instagram. Yeah, I would say Instagram would probably be better to DM them if they're on Instagram. If not, TikTok, of course, or if they have a contact us form on their website. And you would just be like, "Hi, my name is so and so with whatever your company is called. I noticed your wax in a few videos and I absolutely loved it. Do you guys have an affiliate program?" So that's how I squeeze my way in there. I ask them if they have an affiliate program first. And then waiting on their response, whatever if they say yes, and obviously they say yes, like, come on, let me join. But if they say no, then I'll be like, oh, are you guys open to partnerships or collaborations for content on social media? You just got to find a way to talk to them. And from there, that's what I did for most of the people who I currently work with now. And then most of them reached out to me.
Now, do they set up like a commission structure too? Or are they like, here, this is your
Yeah,
link to
you.
commission structure? Or do they have like different like pay structures, I guess, for like affiliate links? Like how
So
would that
for
work?
the affiliates, usually with affiliates, you get your code and you get commission. But
Mm.
if a company doesn't offer affiliate programs, then they have to compensate me for the video. So whatever my fees are, they'd have to pay
Mm.
me per video. And they don't pay me unless that video garnishes like maybe 10,000 views or something. So it's like set like contracts basically. So
That's
like
good
I
to
guarantee
know.
10,000 views, you know what I mean?
That's
So
good to know. So if you're going to reach out, and if somebody doesn't have an affiliate program, but you want to work with them, you want to keep yourself protected too, but you also want to show that you can create value. So say something like you just
yeah.
said, like, you know, I'll charge this much once it hits 10,000, and maybe like tier it like that. So you make sure you both get compensated and, you're helping out.
Yes.
Now, you have grown a very impressive online community. I literally was adding it up yesterday on my phone, and I was like, okay,
Mhm. It took us a while, but we got there.
like 1.5 million followers. You're almost at 1.5 million followers. So 1.5 pairs of eyes, million pairs of eyes on you, between TikTok, YouTube, your own private Facebook group where you give tips and education, Instagram, all over social media platforms. I mean, I've seen your numbers, but I guess it's never clicked like all of them put together for me. It's very, very impressive. how are you able to keep that many people engaged? Because your community is literally a community. It's not just followers that are like voyeurs watching your content. It's a community of people. So how do you keep them engaged in all your content with that many people?
So I post, obviously. If I'm unable to post content, I at least want to post like a picture. Like let them
Mm.
know like I'm still alive. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about when you transition to trying to create like be a social media content creator, is like if you go one day without posting, everyone thinks you're dead or missing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I can't post actual content video, I at least have some type, and it's not any kind of photo. It's like one of those funny, engaging photos, you know? Like I posted a picture yesterday because I wasn't really able to post as much. And it was like a plain bagel and an everything bagel, and it was like waxing versus shaving. Do you know what I mean?
That's
And then
cute.
so now, yeah, so I have like 48 shares, over 100 comments. It's keeping them engaged, so it kind of feels like I'm still there, I'm still with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just find funny little ways to engage with my audience, and obviously I like to create content that catches their eyes. Like I started mixing the wax, things look pretty because over time waxing is waxing. There's so
Yeah.
much you can do with content, so you have to find cute little ways to keep your audience engaged. I introduce characters. Halloween's coming up. I have my character called Skelly that I use, which is
Is
skeleton hand.
is that
So this
you?
year, yeah, so that's me using the hands. It's not the voice. I use the animation voice provided by
No, but
TikTok.
doesn't he have like his own account too or something?
Yes, I created his own account for him too, that I'm actually going to try to work on getting monetized. Since Halloween is coming up, I'll be
I have
posting
to
a
tell
video.
you, that popped up on my For You page. And this was before we were even like connected. And it popped up as someone you may know. And I know quite a few waxers. And I was like, because it's not your voice. Like you said, it's like an animated voice, but it's so cute and it's so funny. It's so interesting. It literally has been a mystery for, yeah, months, a year, whenever you started it. I was like, who is this Skelly? Because it's so cute and funny, but I had no idea who it was. I'm glad that you solved that mystery for me.
Yeah, that's my boy. So we're gonna kick it a notch this year. We're gonna make him into we're getting a life size skeleton now. So it's just you got to switch things up a little bit to stay relevant on social media. So that's what we'll do. We'll also bring the Grinch. I had the Grinch last year in Christmas, so we'll bring him back again this year as well.
That's cute. And I
So
feel like it creates just like a personal touch. Like your community just seems like they adore you so much and like they know you personally. So I feel like all of
mhm.
these little things create a personal touch. I'm so glad we solved that mystery for me. That I've been perplexed. I'm like, who is this? Because I love the little hands just slide in super creepy, and like start to do his little
Yeah,
wax. It's so
and
cute.
he's also like a little perv. He's always a little touchy thing. I
Yeah,
give
it's
him a little
so
because
funny.
that's what makes people go and comment on the post. Like, you know what I mean? And you also get to know. I always do it towards the end of the video because then I know who watched the whole video because they'll comment about it. So
That's so funny. So, how do you think content creation has helped you grow your brands? Do you think it's really just kind of help it take off? And you mentioned posting all the time. So, would you think that's probably your best strategy is just keeping it creative and posting it all the time?
yeah, keeping it creative, posting all the time is very, very important. Because I'm not a full-time content creator. So, but as a content creator in general, people don't know if you're part-time or full-time. They just know they enjoy your content. They want to see it all the time.
Yeah,
So for me, I think it's important to at least get one video a day if possible. That's always my goal. So that's why I tell you I have that one day where I record clients. I have one day where I'm editing content because then what I'll do is I'll have like 20 videos that are ready to go. All I have to do is click post. You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah,
And so it just helps me. Even if I'm on vacation, I can still post a video a day. I don't have to respond to any comments, but I'll still be posting. I
yeah,
also have assistants that I have most of the time when my comments that get replied to, it's my two assistants that are doing the replying, not even me. But
that's
they're
awesome.
around me so much they kind of know what I would say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So just little ways to find it easier because it is very stressful. Being on social media does come with a negative side. You do get hateful comments or negative comments. So you really have to have tough skin and just learn to either block it out or just ignore it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But I've even turned that into revenue. So I do this thing on my Facebook because Facebook pays you per interaction. So it's nice when you post a lot on Facebook. So what I do is I turn whatever comments are negative, I kind of write something back negative as well. Because if you're going to bully me, I'm going to bully you right back. And I call
petty
it
petty. I
like
love
clap
it.
back. Yeah, clap back with waxing queen or clap back with wax lady. So I'll post it on Facebook and everyone just engages. They laugh. They're like, you get them, girl. They're on my side. And they don't, I mean, and I'm getting paid for that interaction with those people. So I find a way to turn that negative into a positive. So
That's amazing. That's brilliant. I love that. Um, Now you're also very well known in the industry for being, for offering education, for sharing your knowledge. A lot of people follow you to learn about waxing or learn how to speed wax or just have a better waxing business. Why do you think it's so important for you to share your experiences and your knowledge with other estheticians?
I think it's important because I remember when I was an esthetician, a beginner esthetician, it was hard. There wasn't that much training. Like I said, you don't learn much in school, so you definitely have to. If you're going to school, you have to set money aside or save overtime while you're in school because you're going to need that continuing education. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
So I think it all started during COVID when we couldn't work, we couldn't do anything, and a lot of SDs were just getting out of school, and people were like, I get it, desperate time calls for desperate measures, but you can't charge someone $1,000 for a virtual Brazilian wax class and you're just waxing one
Yeah.
person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for $1,000, like I need to be there touching that thing myself. Like, you know what I mean? That's insane for that price. And
Right.
I started looking at how money hungry a lot of these estheticians that are teachers or educators,
Yeah.
we're charging client. So I started my YouTube channel and I was like, you know what? Let me just start it. If it works, it works. Whatever. And that's how I really got into doing the free education, is because these people were charging ridiculous prices that I thought was crazy. And it's just that's how YouTube started. So
Yeah, and
but
you actually have a free masterclass coming up. We were just talking about a lot. I mean, I've seen people all over asking about this type of technique. And I'm not even a waxer, but I see it asked all the time. So will you tell us a little bit about your free masterclass that you have coming up? Because I think it's going to be, I mean, it's a game changer. It's literally teaching somebody a skill that they can make thousands and thousands of dollars off of,
yes.
over the course of their career.
Yeah, it's so we're basically a lot of estheticians, we hate waxing legs. Um, legs take, especially if you're using hard wax,
Mm.
it takes up so much of your product that you feel like it's a waste. And then it's kind of like you also don't want to overcharge the client.
Yeah.
But I think that roll-on wax is amazing. So I'll be doing a master class on and I don't offer legs anymore. So, I haven't done legs with this wax probably in like 3-4 months, but it's like riding a bicycle. It'll be fine.
Right.
So we're going to do this master class and we're going to show estheticians how to properly use roll-on wax, which is easier. Your time will be cut in half or whatever your time is now, and you'll be able to make the same amount of money. So I think it's important to learn different techniques. It may not be for everyone just because
Yeah.
I'm using it and it looks perfect what I'm doing, but it's worth a try, to help save estheticians money and time. So we'll see. Sometimes I do full legs in 20 minutes, which usually takes most people an hour from what I see online when they post. I don't have an hour to spend with one client. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, I've got like
So
thick
yeah,
legs. When I try to do my own, I'm like, oh my God, why is this taking so long? 'Cause I see people like you, it looks so quick and easy. And I'm like, oh,
yeah, it definitely looks quick and easy. I think a lot of times people have problems with the warmer because it's a handheld warmer. So we just want to go over everything. We want to skip no steps and we just want to break everything down. I have videos, but sometimes I feel like it's nice when you're just doing a live class. You know what I
yeah.
mean? People kind of absorb that information better. So we'll do a live class and just everything's more like slow motion and they can see everything correctly. And hopefully it helps because I love using roll-on wax for legs. It's a game changer. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So we'll give your contact information at the end of the podcast. It's going to be on the 21st. Is that correct?
the 21st at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Perfect. So if you're not fully booked yet, because seats are limited, we'll give you the contact information so you can go and register too. Because like I said, this is a skill that's going to, like you said, save you time, which allows you to make more money because you can see more clients. It saves you product. And you can use this for your entire career as an esthetician and make thousands and thousands of dollars off of it. So
Yes.
that's amazing. And that you're offering it for free.
And we're waxing a real person with hairy legs. So you will get her real reactions, and we'll
That's
try to
awesome.
keep it fun and educational as always. That's
That's,
very important to me, is not to just be educational, but to be fun with it.
yeah.
Because I don't want to work somewhere where it's not fun. And that's how I feel like even if you have a career, it should be fun. So
And I think waxing is such an intimate thing. Like, I don't want to go get a wax and somebody be like, weird or quiet about. That's going to make me feel like
Yeah,
am I the problem? Like, is it my hair? Like,
you're
then you just
pregnant.
feel awkward and weird and insecure too. So I love that.
Yep.
So I want to talk about your skincare line because it's very impressive as well. Like you said, it's all natural. It's safe for the intimate areas. I know that you had talked about you weren't seeing the results that you wanted to see from the products you were using at your previous place of employment, but there's so many different things you can do as an esthetician. You can private label, like somebody already has the products, you just put your logo and label on it and then you sell it, which tends to be a little bit less expensive. Or you can actually formulate and manufacture your own skincare if you understand the formulation process. Like you said, the effects on the skin, if it's safe for those areas. So, what made you decide to actually not only offer products, but formulate and manufacture your own skincare? And what was that process like for you when you made that decision?
So the process, so I knew that I was going to make the decision. I didn't know when I was going to do it, but it took me about a year and a half to get the right formula because people don't realize this. Like when you buy any product, all the ingredients have to be listed, right?
Right.
So that means that if you have my oil, Nicole, you see all the ingredients, you're more than welcome to go buy those ingredients and try to make your own, product. But
Try.
are you how do you know how much of what to put in there? Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Because sometimes too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So
Right.
you have to really know and calculate. So it took me a while. I just kept formulating different formulas and I would give samples out to my clients to test them out for me, free samples. And I had this one particular client where she just went from horrible skin to gorgeous. And that was like one of the first videos I posted. And that's one thing just went, just seeing my one client. And I think like that's what's important for estheticians to understand. It's not just about throw these ingredients in a batch. You really have to you have to put your scientist hat on. You have to make sure that it's formulated properly, that the ingredients are safe, because I'm not looking for ingredients that are cheap. I mean,
Right.
I try my best to buy natural, affordable ingredients, but
Right.
anything that's usually organic or natural is not going to be cheap. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I can't use like a private labels because I have to know what's going in the product. I have this trust thing. Like I feel like, okay, maybe they'll start off strong, right? And they'll use all the right stuff. And then over time they just start watering things down or using cheaper quality things. And I can't take that risk when it comes to my clients
I also
or
think
my
with some of the private labeling, because it's sold to the masses, like they sell them, a lot of times there's like a minimum order quantity of like a few hundred or a few
customers.
thousand they have to order from these manufacturers. So it's the ingredients in there just aren't safe for intimate areas. And I know from my own research, the vulva is one of the most absorbable organs on the body. So you
Yep.
formulating a natural skincare line, is way safer, in my opinion, for that intimate area versus anything else. But I think you're right. Estheticians need to understand they can't just throw a bunch of essential oils in a bottle and give it to their clients because there are, dermal limits to different oils. Like you said, the carrier oils, you have to see like what's absorbing in the skin, what's going to create
Mhm.
um, lighter skin or help with hyperpigmentation or what's going to create ingrown hairs because it's not the right ingredient. So I think, like you said, really taking your time and understanding what you're formulating and why is such great advice versus estheticians just thinking they can buy a bunch of oils off of Amazon and pour it into a bottle because that's not safe for their clients.
Yeah. I also have like a fragrance free thing. I don't do fragrance.
I love
I just
that.
keep it on. Yeah. I've always believed that fragrance, especially on that area, intimate area, it's always been a big no-no for me.
Yeah,
So
I feel like the one in a million women that I hear that can do like something fragrant right down there. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a unicorn. Like the rest of us would be
yeah.
tore up.
Yeah, I used when I first went off by my own, I used to have fur oil. I don't know if you ever heard of fur oil.
Yeah.
And then so I noticed like, you used to get it in this beautiful gold, oil was gorgeous. And
Yeah.
then I noticed that, like 6 months later, when my new batch came in, the gold just looked diluted.
It looked
And you
clear.
see that was the issue for me. It didn't look the same. And I
Yeah.
was like, yep, that's what really made me like get into action and start my oil because I was like, shit, like this is what I feared would happen, and for the
Yeah.
price, obviously, very pricey. Like, I don't need you diluting my stuff for that price. So
No. But again, they
if
sell to
you
the
order my
masses now
oil,
too, right?
you get the same oil every time you order my oil. Beautiful golden bottle.
So you have an ingrown hair oil. What are the other products that you formulate and manufacture?
Yeah. So primarily at first, a lot of my clients, I'm in South Florida. I had a lot of Hispanic and Black women. So it was one of those things where we know already we're going to deal with tons of hyperpigmentation, discoloration. And so I wanted to make sure that I had products, even if you didn't have hyperpigmentation or discoloration, you can still use them. So we have like my turmeric scrub.
Love
And
turmeric.
then, oh my God, love it. So turmeric scrub, we also have a turmeric soap with kojic acid. And it's very important when using kojic acid. I don't think people understand. I mean, the word acid is still in there. So you really
Yeah.
have to know, like I said, how much to put in your batch when you're making it. And then we also have body butter, which is kind of seasonal. I kind of play with the seasons a little bit. So what's the next thing coming up? Halloween. So I have like a body butter that's probably orange and orange, white, and I don't know, pump like, I don't know, purple or something, or Frankenstein color. I like to play with the theme. So it
Nice.
is limited for body butters. And I hate making body butters. So that's another thing.
While
What
supplies
else do we have?
last.
While supplies last, yeah. And then we're going to introduce next month my eyebrow serum for eyebrow hair growth, which I have been keeping social media. My little niece, her eyebrows are actually horrible. So we waxed her last month. We did a follow-up about a week ago, and everyone can see the difference with her using my oil. And you can see where like literally she had no hair. It's like hair there now. So that's the
That's
thing, is
awesome.
having social media be a part of the process. Everyone's like, when is it coming? But I need it. Like, you know what I mean? So that's another thing, like the platform that I have when I do have new products, I can introduce it there. And it's kind of like, I have sales without even selling it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Everyone's anxious to get their hands on it.
we have that social proof that it works because people can
Yes.
see.
And I make sure, so that's a good thing too, my little niece, I make sure she doesn't touch those brows, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And she is consistent with the waxing, and we can post those videos so people are updated along the way and they can see that the proof is in the pudding.
that's amazing. And you don't just sell to, you don't just do direct like to consumer sales. You also do business to business. So if an esthetician wanted to have you in their back bar, have your products in their back bar, if they wanted to sell your products retail, you do offer like a wholesale business to business type of business
Yes.
structure for your products as well, right?
Yes, I offer wholesale currently right now just for the oils. We're working on the scrubs because I use natural Himalayan salt for my scrubs,
Nice.
and it's not the cheapest thing out there, so it's a
Right.
little pricey. So trying to supply so much is a little hard right now. So we're working on that though. But at the moment,
But if
just the
somebody
oils.
needs some back bar products or they need their clients to be on an oil, yours is a really great fit for
Yes.
them versus, like we said, the ones that are mass produced. Because even the ones that sell to estheticians now, you can find them in Ulta and Sephora a lot of the times. And it just, like you said, it just seems like it cuts the quality of the products.
Yeah, because what happens, like, so if I run out of a bottle and you're out of state, right? Or you're on vacation for like 5 days, I'm gonna order it on Amazon, or I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
said, I'm gonna go somewhere else to get it. So it kind of takes away from the esthetician. So
So
yeah.
if an esthetician, I know you said like take your time and know, but what is some advice that you would give an esthetician if they were looking to start their own product line? Would you say, first you got to decide if you want it all natural? Would you say like you need to decide if you want to formulate it yourself or do like contract manufacturing?
Yeah, you have to decide that. You also have to think about the extra stuff that comes with it. Like, now we're talking about shipping and we're talking about packing orders. You have to make sure you have the time to do all that too. Now, if you're just selling it to your clients, that's different because it's, in your suite.
Mhm.
But if you want to sell it to everybody, you got to think about that stuff. But yeah, you also have to make sure that, I always tell people, don't just start selling right away. Have that one or two clients that have issues with their skin, and have them be your models. That way you keep track of their progress and you can see that the product's working, it's ready to go. But that's very important as well. And then just make sure you're just ready for what comes with making products. Hi, UPS, come on in. I got a wax delivery coming in, guys. I get wax deliveries probably every day. So,
I love that. I love that he knows like you two
well,
are
he
friends
always
now.
knocks this. So in his head, even though the waxing happens and you can't see it when you open the door, he just thinks as soon as he opens the door, he's going to see naked bodies. So he's like hilarious.
You're like, it's a closed room. You're fine.
He doesn't care. It's been like 3 years. He does not care.
I love that. So, what are some key steps that estheticians can take today if they wanted to start diversifying their income? How should they start? What are some steps they can take to start?
So first, it's gonna sound crazy. First, you just gotta start, okay? There's a lot of
Yeah.
procrastination going on. I see it all the time. I get people that inbox me how they wanted to do something and it's been a whole year. They've been thinking about it. Why has it been a whole year? Can you imagine how much money you would have made in that whole year? Do you know? So
Right.
it's I always tell people just start. Second, plan. Planning is so important. Do you have a business plan? Like I have a plan for like, so I have my overall business plan. I have my social media plan. I have my product plan. Like you have to have plans. And
Yeah.
you literally can find templates online. Like it doesn't have to be complicated to create an outline for your, for yourself.
Yeah.
So that, and then just do your research. You know what I mean? That's very important. Um, it's free to use Google. It's free to use YouTube University. It's even free on TikTok. Most of the time, you can find some very helpful information. Doing your research is very important. Absorbing as much knowledge, whether it's good or bad, is important. Like you just have to take advantage of free resources when they are available to you.
Well, like you even said, even if you just wanted to start adding apparel into your brands, you can do drop
Mm-hmm.
shipping for free. I've done that with a couple brands too, just to offer something that's on brand, but like you said, an additional stream of income. Um,
Yeah.
but there's
Like I took a day off at the end of the month because I have to go through and add all this new Halloween stuff for waxers to wear. Because you don't want to wait last minute. They want to buy it in September to have it for October. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? You just
yeah,
have to plan it correctly. So that's what I'll be working on. One whole day of just making new designs for October content.
I love that. And I love your advice to just start because like you said, so many people are like, well, my website isn't perfect yet, or I don't really have this yet, or I don't really have that yet. If you wait for it to be perfect, you're never going to wait, like you said. And I also believe that's like your subconscious keeping you nice and comfy and like that fight or flight, like just keeping you safe because this is where you are. But you're obviously not happy and you want stuff to change. So if you just make yourself do it, and like you said, just get started small, just do some small things, whether it is
Yeah.
something like drop shipping or it is, something like bringing in a product line, whatever it is, just start small. But like you said, just start. I think that's such great, important advice for estheticians.
You want to know what's funny? So my website is horrible, but
Is
my
it?
website is horrible. I mean, it's something I did myself. I'm in a position now where obviously I can pay someone to redo it for me, but I don't take bookings anymore. I
Yeah.
book all my before they leave. So it's never really been like a big thing. I mean, my product page isn't bad, but everything else on my website, I definitely need to have time where I can sit down and kind of redo a little bit of it. So it's so funny that you said that because when I was looking at your website, I'm like, God damn, this thing is gorgeous.
Listen, you need
It was
help, I got you.
was organized. I was so jealous. I'm like, all right, Nicole, don't worry. I'm going to step it up. So I do have to find time to kind of redo my website a little bit.
Just email me your login, I got you. I'll
All
help
right.
you
All right.
out. But no, I always give this analogy, right? I was working for this one person and we were doing lashes and this girl posted something and it was wrong of me to judge her. But I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you would post that. Like lashes were like this. Like the
Mhm.
fundamental rule of lashes is that they go up. Like lashes should just go up, not like
Yeah.
crisscross applesauce, right? So 2 years later, I'm doing this client. I'm not even working near this girl anymore. And she comes in with an inspiration pic, and it was that picture. And
Oh, shit.
I was being judgy about it. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she would post that. They look crazy. But somebody liked it. And in my head, it clicked like, okay, doesn't have to be perfect to your standards. It doesn't be finished to your standards because somebody likes it. So clearly, like even your website to you, wasn't organized, but to your clients who want to book or want to purchase, it's clearly attracting them to push either of those buttons to do it. So just have something, just have some resource. But that was kind of
Yeah.
my aha moment where like, okay, I'm sitting here waiting until I have like the perfect lash set or the perfect facial to post online when it just has to be posted because somebody is going to be attracted to it and somebody's going to purchase or book from it.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely agree. I feel like if you don't have, like, it's better to have something than nothing. Because when I first started out, I was using one of those. I don't know if you remember those appointment books.
Yes.
Like where you write everything in, and well, you would probably want to use a pencil so you can reuse it. But I
Yeah.
had literally one of those, and that's how I was for probably the first 5 months until I got my website together and et cetera, et cetera. But it was really hard because now people are messaging you from inbox. Hi, how do I book an appointment? You have to write everything down and da da da. And if you're taking deposits, you have nowhere for them to do that. So
Yeah.
they have to Zelle you or Cash App you. It's really hard. So you have to think about making your life easier. It's not just to say like, oh, go get a website or get what it's called, Vagaro or whatever those places are called.
Yeah.
It's going to make your life easier because everything is just done virtually. You don't have to worry about doing anything besides taking that client when they show up.
Yeah, and some of them are free and just charge like a processing fee, but then they pull your reports so that you know what you're selling, who you're selling to, how many clients, like the average client, like the average amount of money you're making per client. Like it's so good to have that organization. Like you said, it makes it so easy for you. There's just so many free resources out there where you can just get started. Just start.
Well, not to mention, I mean, I think I've probably given away. So it's free. I use Wix. It's free on Wix.
Yeah, like with.
But obviously, when you want to upgrade that account to get more features, you got to pay for it. And so I always tell people, okay, well, Wix always does this thing where there's so much 50% off deal, like it just
Mm,
randomly happens. Wait for that opportunity, upgrade your account, do the cheapest way. If you can afford to do 3 years because it's cheaper, do 3 years. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like make your life easy. And I've paid for like I think 2 estheticians that have won it in a giveaway so far to get their free Wix, websites, and they love it. There's 24-hour customer service. It's very user friendly. So I mean, I just tell people you're gonna just have to figure out what you want because there's a lot of options in this industry.
Yeah. And just go get it.
Just go get it.
Let's go get it.
Sometimes you gotta crawl you gotta walk before you crawl.
So looking ahead, what are your goals for your personal brand with Waxing Queen Adventures? Where do you see your brand evolving into? Or what do you see your brand
So
evolving into?
so looking ahead, I definitely see my product line growing, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I I don't see much waxing besides for content purposes in the future.
Mm,
Like I said, I really do want to focus on my health, so I have to do that. And then I also see possibly coming out with my own wax. I think that'd be fun and exciting.
that is.
Everyone's been asking me for years. I have a collaboration coming out with Black Coral Wax, so that'd be fun. So that is like kind of like the stepping ground. I don't want to jump too big doing it myself. So I'll collaborate with the company, see how stressful it is. And if it's
Yeah.
not as stressful, I know that I probably can do it alone. So that's like my goal for that.
You know you can
So
do it alone.
I know I can do
You
it.
know
It's
you've
just,
got this, but it's great to get that experience and the insider look
yes.
of how it operates. That's a very smart strategic business move, but you know you got this.
And I have such a good relationship with Black Coral Wax and other companies that I feel like they have they've given me so much advice already. Do you know what I mean?
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's because I tell people like it's not competition. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's really not. And I mean, I feel like it's just enough room for everyone in this industry to grow, even though some others might not see it the same way. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I find that they're my mentors when it comes to thinking about doing this, build your own wax thing in the future. So I like the relationship I have with them and it's been very helpful. So we'll see
That's
where it takes
amazing.
me in the future.
And your masterclass you're doing is with Black Coral, right? That's what you said?
Yes, I'm using Black Coral Wax roll-on. So it's actually the first and last roll-on that I've ever tried. So
That's awesome.
I'm
Well, thank you so much for all the information today. I think it's going to be so helpful to so many estheticians and just to hear how you grew your success because a lot of people know you as a successful businesswoman, but they maybe haven't heard your journey or really got in depth with your journey. So thank you so much for sharing. If people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, I am Waxing Queen Adventures. On Facebook, I am just Waxing Queen. For some reason, that they are denying my change to add that adventures on there. So I created a new page just to save the name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until they allow me to make the change, but it's a little complicated. I've kind of given up on that. But yeah, you guys can find me on social media, and definitely estheticians. Make sure you guys follow on TikTok. That's where all the wax giveaways are happening. There's a huge one happening on Friday. I don't know if this will be uploaded by then, but if it is, join.
Well, yeah,
So
you do a
yeah.
lot of giveaways. Let's mention that real quick. You do a lot of giveaways with waxing. I mean, you gave away one of my mentorships. I mean, you are literally changing people's lives and their businesses. So tell us real quick about some of the giveaways that you do and why they should follow
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, so I think it's very important. I think like one of the things when I started my business was finding out how expensive things were and how hard it is to like, to get it because you know you need it, but you can't afford it. So
Yeah,
I try to a few people, especially the ones that support me. I try to make their lives a little easier, whether it's giving out free, I've given out MacBooks before, iPads, because
awesome.
iPads are very helpful when it comes to checking out your clients, guys. I've given out tons of wax. We just gave out a mentorship, which I've also given out a few more for marketing and advertising with other companies,
Awesome.
and wax. So I just got a big box of wax delivered. None of that's for me. It's all going away on Friday. So I just think it's very helpful to give back, especially to the estheticians, the ones who are always there for me, purchasing from me, sharing every video, liking. I want to give back in some type of way.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Elda, for being here today. Like I said, I think this is just going to be so helpful. And for all of our listeners, go make sure you follow her. Even if you aren't a waxer, just seeing how she is, seeing her content really can be very beneficial for you in your own beauty business. So thank you so much for being here with me.
Yes, if you're not a waxer, I still do giveaways for you guys too, by the way. Gift cards, PlayStation 5s. We do like so much stuff. And Christmas is coming up. So, that's our biggest time to give away stuff. So,
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be right there
oh God,
watching.
here she goes.
All right. Thank you so much, Elda. I
No
appreciate it.
problem. Thanks for having me. Have a great day. Bye,
You too.
guys.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share our show. We want to help as many estheticians as we can become successful business owners. Plus, sharing our show is a great way to support our small business. Before we part ways, remember you're not just an esthetician, you're a spa boss in the making. Until next time, stay inspired, stay confident, and keep conquering the world of aesthetics. This is Nicole Lancaster signing off from Spa Boss Talks.